So what we know is that police held several raids on nightclubs in Tbilisi, but what do you say, Ms. Akhvlediani? Is the drug dealing problem really as acute in Tbilisi, or was there another reason for these actions?
Hello, good evening, and thank you for inviting me and possibility to join and to share the news, because there are actually a lot of news now in Tbilisi today and yesterday. Yes, it's really important. It's important event, and I would say that the topic itself, and you correctly mentioned that it is related to the drugs and to the drug dealers, but also the event itself. I mean that at least 10,000, maybe 15,000 people, young people in the street. It's also already rare situation in Georgia, an important one. And I would say that, of course, it is directly related. Actually, the reason that those young people have come to the streets, it is that some, like up to 10 people, were dragged from the clubs, they were beaten, they were arrested. But the main reason is actually that people and young people in Georgia, they don't like how the things are during last years. And so the feeling, the general feeling in the society is that Georgia is like moving aside of democracy, of the Western way of development. And so maybe it was like only what happened in the night. It was only one event, but the real reason is bigger.
Ms. Akhvlediani, is the number of protesters significantly growing? You said 10, maybe 15,000 people, and how likely the protests are to continue? And another question, I'm always interested in what is young in this or that country's term.
It's really young, because I was yesterday there, was wandering among them, and they are from 18 maybe till 30, I would say, but mainly 25, 27 years old. And it's not a generation that participated before in political unrests in Georgia, because the generations that made the road revolution in 2003 together with Saakashvili, and also the revolution by Georgian Dream in 2012, it was different generation. It was generation of 35, 40 and further. So those who are already in charge in the society. So it's really rare thing. And I was surprised myself just looking around and seeing thousands and thousands of young faces. So really rare event. And it's a question now whether elder generation who are in church, as I mentioned, they are going to join the protest. It is actually the issue, the most important now issue, whether the protest would stop themselves, maybe tomorrow, maybe like in a week, or they will grow into the real unrest, into the real protest of the society, which is raising, growing within the society, but was a bit like not visible so much, maybe only by journalists, by media who consider themselves more liberal rather than pro-governmental. But the question is now that the battle is in the street, at the parliament. And today there is a new rally also is conducted, and two rallies are divided by police. One is huge and started yesterday, you know about it, but another one, they are ultra-nationalists, socialists, some of them represent communist even parties. So they gathered in the morning and they walked also to the place, and they wanted to somehow interrupt, to somehow to be like involved, or maybe they even tried that there will be some maybe fighting. But police now prevents two rallies to mix with each other, and so at least there's now, at least like 5 minutes ago, it was calm. There, people still are dancing, and one of the biggest battles now is happening in Georgia in Facebook, in social networks, because the society is really divided. Because those that are older generation who are after 30, who actually would decide what will happen further, they don't agree with each other. I would say there are like 50-50. people who would say that those who are staying in the streets, they are supporting that narcotics, that drugs would be sold in Georgia freely, and it's not exactly what Georgia needs. And the other part, also elder generation, also very respectful people in the society, they say that not, it's only the reason, and our youth would like to change the things, and we have to support them and to move the things into the right direction. So it seems that there are battles in the street, like battles, rallies, but also there are battles in social networks, and they are important. Let's see what happens next.
Ms. Akhvlediani, a colleague who follows the events in Georgia closely told me that there hasn't been so far any statement from the president or the prime minister or even leaders of political parties. Why is this?
It's strange. So only Kakha Kaladze, as you mentioned already, the head of the Tbilisi municipality, and who actually is a young person, and he represents, I would say, he's accepted by young people, kind of accepted by young people. Also, he's a former footballer, you know, probably. So the only person who talked publicly and who said what he thinks about it was Kakha Kaladze, but nobody else reacts. And it's strange also. So there are slogans, and young people, they have slogans not only like freedom, let's dance for freedom, but also there are slogans against, we don't need Putin in Georgia, for instance, or stop Moscow. And I think that maybe they kind of right. So it's a strange policy. Somehow brings me back to Soviet Union, when the government would not react, would sleep or hide and expect that something would disappear by itself. I don't know. I still expect that maybe today Prime Minister would talk to people, at least by TV, or like coming to TV, maybe not directly to the square, because it's time and people demanding that he would talk. And they are young, and there are a lot of them. He has to actually just follow constitutions. He has to talk. He was elected by parliament, but parliament was elected by people. So let's see. It's strange. It's strange for Georgia. It's really strange.
And the last question, what are they dancing?
Electronic music. So they are the main reason was the raid on nightclubs. And nightclubs in Georgia, they are mainly playing electronic music. So now the entire 20,000 people are dancing electronic music. It's really beautiful.
Understood. Thank you very much. GEM News Editor-in-Chief Margarita Akhvlediani was on Skype connection to Hromadske International.